Ezekiel chapter 42. Let's call this one a separation, because even though that term is going to come up in the very last verse of the chapter, it is going to seem to implicitly be a concept even before it's literally mentioned in the last verse. It says to make a separation between the holy and the common. The first place I noticed a separation is the one that we were reminded of, or at least I was reminded of, in verse 13, when we see the separation once again between the sons of Zadok and the rest of the Levitical priests, of the sons of Levi. Why? Because the sons of Zadok, once again, were those who refused to water down the truth in the days when the people of Israel were seeking to mix God with their idols. Verse 13 reading, then he said to me, the north chambers and the south chambers opposite the yard are the holy chambers, where the priests who approach the Lord shall eat the most holy offerings. And by now we've seen back in chapter 40, and we will see again, that those priests who are allowed to approach the Lord, once again, are simply the sons of Zadok, none others. And so the first separation we seem to see, once again, is the reminder that we're getting of the separation of the sons of Zadok, those who held the truth without watering it down, from the remainder of the priests who will still be allowed to minister to the people who they led in blending God with their idols. The next separation that we'll see is in verse 14, where it says, they shall put on other garments before they go near to that which is for the people. So there's a separation between the sons of Zadok and the people in general, understanding that a later chapter is going to help us understand something that seems to say that you will not be able to inadvertently or by osmosis pick up holiness, because it's a strange process or concept, I guess, that goes back to Leviticus, that there are some things in the most holy or the holy places that are holy by nature of their use or their service to God, and they can actually transmit holiness. He's saying keep a separation that keeps people from being able to pick up holiness inadvertently. And this is, of course, my ad lib, without actually being dedicated to the actual level of character that God allows to draw close or near to him. And the third separation being the one that we literally read in the last verse, a separation between the holy and the common, will be the 500 cubits surrounding what seems to be the temple footprint that distinguishes it from Solomon's temple. It is a larger footprint, and as I've neglected to mention to this point, I'm going to link straight up literal descriptions from the book of Ezekiel, even though it's not going to be word for word. It's going to pull isolated verses to give you a visual of what this footprint actually looks like, at least from chapters 40 through 43. Understanding that I think there's been some pretty good work done on that, even if it's not work I completely agree with. I think it still has value, reminding me what my instructors used to say, which is, what they used to say, which is eat the fish, spit the bones. Meaning, don't disregard good protein just because it has some bones in it. Likewise, don't disregard good spiritual food just because it may not be perfect. Discern, or pray for God to give you discernment as to what is biblically true and what might be ad lib, something I try to qualify in my own work. But to the degree that I don't, still spit the bones in what I am saying as well. But with that, God's best to you as you go forward in him, God willing, trying to, as I am, alleviate my misunderstandings about what God is doing with this description of Ezekiel's, or the third temple as described by Ezekiel, or just Ezekiel. I'd like to make goofy pronunciations sometimes. Either way, I forgot to mention, even though this is a place of restored peace, it is not a place where God's people are yet perfect. Therefore, there will still remain some sacrifices, not only for the thanks and the peace that's been restored in this place, but for the remaining sins of the people, even if there's only a sacrifice for the unintentional sins of the people in this place of, as we mentioned before, renewed peace.